Hey Star Wars fans, Dan Gunther here with my review of Episode 6 of The Mandalorian, The Prisoner. In this episode, the Mandalorian lands the Razor Crest at a station, joining a crew of mercenaries on a mission to free a prisoner from a New Republic prison ship. The broker for this job is someone who's worked with the Mandalorian before, but much of the crew that he's working with he has not met before, with one exception, a Twi'lek played by Natalia Tena, who he has apparently had relations with in the past. Not sure exactly what the nature of those are, but there are certain intimations that it may have been intimate, but of course the Mandalorian remains very tight-lipped about that. The other crew members include a mercenary played by Bill Burr, who's a former Imperial sharpshooter. In a funny sequence, the Mandalorian says that's not very impressive, and he snaps back that he was not a stormtrooper, which is the first time we've gotten kind of in canon making fun of stormtroopers' lack of ability to aim, which I thought was pretty amusing. The other two crew members are the Muscle and a droid who's piloting the Razor Crest for this mission. Throughout the entire episode, I was thinking to myself, this guy's voice is really familiar. Who is that? And then when I saw Richard Ayoade credited at the end of the episode, I lost my mind. I love him. The IT Crowd was one of my favorite shows, the British version, obviously. I've always loved him as an actor and a comedian, so it was really cool that he's a part of Star Wars now. I want to say similar things about Natalia Tena. I've long been a fan of her, so the fact that she plays this character in this episode was delightful as well. The mission to get to the prison ship goes mostly as planned, but the mercenaries discover the Baby Yoda aboard the ship in the interim, and it's very obvious that they have an interest in him. They don't know quite what his value is, but he definitely seems like he's threatened by at least Bill Burr's mercenary here. So the Mandalorian is definitely on guard for threats to this very small bounty of his. Aboard the prison vessel, the mission to free the prisoner seems to go off pretty much without a hitch, but the team double crosses the Mandalorian, and once they've rescued the prisoner that they're after, they shove him into the cell. Now, he also has a bit of a history with this prisoner, as he is the brother of Natalia Tena's character. The Mandalorian, of course, quickly escapes, being a man of many talents, or a Mando of many talents. Anyway, so he escapes relatively quickly and gets to the control room and basically makes life hell for his team members who are still trying to get to the ship with the former prisoner in tow. I also want to highlight a really great scene where New Republic security guard is the only human, the only person who's not a droid who's on this prison ship. And this really great tense scene where they're holding him at gunpoint and he's got a beacon that will alert the New Republic that there's trouble and they'll send ships. This whole scene is really well done. And I have to say, a lot of times I'm expecting these episodes to be very predictable. There have been a couple episodes prior to this one where I really guessed where things were going and it wasn't that much of a surprise. This one, I was surprised at just about every turn. So at this point, this episode is hitting all the right buttons for me. I'm really enjoying this. So this New Republic guard ends up getting killed. They're making their escape, and like I said, the Mandalorian is double-crossed. He escapes, and it kind of, at this point, turns into Die Hard / maybe Home Alone, where the Mandalorian is setting traps for the remaining members of his crew, and the whole time you're thinking that he's killing them. After all, up to this point, the Mandalorian has kind of left a bit of a trail of bodies in his wake, but we do learn that he will not kill unless it's absolutely necessary, unless he's, his life is in mortal danger kind of thing, or the life of Baby Yoda, I guess. But in this case, we find out that he's actually locked them all in cells and has not killed them, which I think is an interesting insight into his character and kind of code of behavior. He does end up taking the aforementioned prisoner back to the base where he first got the job from, turns him over and gets the reward for it. He returns to his ship and leaves the station, at which point they discover that the homing beacon that the New Republic guy activated was hidden on the prisoner's person, and the New Republic has sent a trio of X-Wings to investigate. This, I I was kind of losing my mind at this point again. I was really excited to learn more about the New Republic at this time and maybe see some ships. I wasn't expecting X-Wings, but I probably should have. Also, we get to see Dave Filoni in a really fun cameo here as well as an X-Wing pilot. So, I mean, that's one of the perks of being on the show. We had Jon Favreau earlier voicing a Mandalorian in episode 3, I believe it was, and now we get Dave Filoni as an X-Wing pilot. Very cool perks to working on and creating this show. And that's basically where we leave this episode. The X-Wings destroy the fighter that the base is launching to destroy the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian jumps away into hyperspace, and we see the 3 X-Wings kind of engaging this mercenary base. So it seems their operation is going to be shut down pretty well by the New Republic. Like I said, this episode just really hit all of the right buttons for me. The action was excellent. I think the twists and turns were really unexpected. I loved getting a bit of a wider glimpse into this universe and seeing a little bit more of what the galaxy is like at this time. Definitely an old style kind of heist type story where he's part of a team and things go wrong and all this sort of stuff. So again, they're kind of going with all these tropes of different types of stories, westerns and heist movies and that kind of thing, but it's really working set in this universe with these characters. We also get, of course, a little bit of insight into his past. He's worked with these mercenaries before, and it's interesting to see him interacting with other people on his level. Kind of, I think the subtitle to The Mandalorian could be, does not play well with others. He's really a lone wolf. And these mercenaries learn that the hard way. So definitely top marks for this episode from me. This might be one of the highlights of the season. I think episode 3 was one of my favorites up to this point. This one is definitely joining that as one of the high points for the season. And now there's only 2 episodes left. I can't believe it. Next week, we get one on Wednesday. Presumably that's because The Rise of Skywalker opens on Friday. And then the Friday following that is the season finale. So look for reviews of those episodes from me when they come out. I'm leaving for a few days, so I'll be away. You won't get any new videos for the next few days anyway, but I'll be back next week. Returning Wednesday, so hopefully Thursday, Friday, I can get reviews of the new episodes and of The Rise of Skywalker soon. So stay tuned for those. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks, of course, to the Patreon supporters for everything that you all do. I really appreciate it. Everyone else, thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing, and all those good things that you do and that we as YouTubers have to ask you to do. What else? Hit that bell. Hit that bell. All the YouTubers say hit that bell. So for notifications when I put a new video up. Other than that, I guess all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, as always, may the Force be with you.